Well, this is what I want to talk about. Because you see, you're very busy. I have nothing else to do. I read Nehemiah 3 over and over and over and over. You know what I found? I found some things to me were interesting. Maybe it'll be determined whether you think it's interesting. And you realize what they are? They're traits or attributes. See, if nothing else, you know what this chapter reminds me of? Watch this now. God keeps records. God writes things down. God notices. That's what I want to talk about today. What's he notice? In the chapter, I noticed some things he noticed. No, I hope you keep records. Some of you better than others. So some of you in your company, if I ask you how things are going right now, you know what the balance sheets. You know the bottom line, right? Why? Well, we keep records, man. You got all kind of records. It is tax season. You're doing your taxes. Well, we need records. Right? You kept them. Well, you kept them. Because they need them. It's amazing the records people keep. I'm a sports fan. I watch ESPN. It's amazing to me. This is the first person who was 6'1" and 3/4, who's left-handed, has blonde hair, and is from Albuquerque. Whoever did that? How do they know all that stuff? My wife will say, "Did you hear what that guy just said? Who cares?" They keep records. It's good to keep records. What about God notices? What causes God to say, "Hey, make a note of that. Write that down. I saw that." That's what I want to talk about tonight. And in reading and rereading this confusing chapter, I only showed you 4 verses, but I'm going to show you 4 things. In the book there, outline, there's a place where the time that I'm supposed to speak it. If you get nothing out of what I say tonight, I want to give you 4 words, all begin with the letter A, that are traits or characteristics that can help me and help you be better suited for jumping in, for joining. In reading and rereading the chapter, I noticed things that helped me see certain traits that apparently, listen now, apparently that's important to God. He noted it. And there are characteristics that we not only need to pay attention to, but they're ones that are going to help me and help you be more successful at building, especially if you have an interest in making an impact for Christ in the arena where you're building. Did you follow that? That was good. I read that right from my notes. What arena? You know, like your office, like your company, like your house, where you're building. And using this chapter, I want to share 4 of them with you as time permits. Okay, and I want to show you a verse of scripture to prove what I'm saying. Here's 4 A words. Words that begin with the letter A. Are you with me, folks? Are you with me from this confusing chapter? That I dare you to go home and read tonight and say, "Boy, that was great." Because it all looks like what I just read for you. The only name I recognized there was banana. I'm not even sure that's what take my word for this, right? In the chapter, you're going to learn when you read through there, and if you were listening, who was building with them, what they built. Did you notice that when I was reading? This person was responsible for that. Where were they built? As a matter of fact, if you study the chapter, you'll find out this. They weren't professional builders. Somebody asked me one time, what did Nehemiah know about building a wall? I said, I don't know. I know in 52 days, he put something back up that had been ripped down for 70 years. You see, you were walking by the rubble. You lived in Jerusalem, and the walls have been broken down for 70 years since the Babylonians were there. And you're walking your dog. You walked your dog all the time past all the rubble. One day you got there and you saw all these people. Man, look at that. Man, oh man, they're working hard. Things are, the rubble's disappearing. And you pulled the guy aside and said, hey man, what's going on here? We're rebuilding walls now. You better get out of the way. They finish in 52 days. The chapter will tell you this. When that person wasn't there building, do you know what they did? They were perfumers, or they were goldsmiths. You'll find out those things about the people who were building. And everybody was pitching in. As you saw those verses. And things were happening. And things were going well while they were building walls. And things might be going well, by the way, where you're building. You're in charge of the shipping department. I tell you, our shipping department, it's, whoop, since I got here, whoop, we're really, it's humming. It's going great. And everybody's doing their job, and there's great success. I want you to see with me, can we pull up the next slide? Nehemiah chapter 3. Everything's in Nehemiah 3 and verse 5. Next to them, the Tekites made repairs, but their nobles did not put their shoulders to the work of the Lord. You see the word not? Listen, watch this. It's the only negative word in the entire chapter. Now that's interesting to me. Maybe it's not to you. I wonder why that was pointed out. It's the only negative. This guy was working here, going great. This people, oh, by the way, you know the Tekites? Yeah, they said, we're not going to help. And God said, write that down. You know what I wanted to remind you of from that phrase is this. I told you 4 A's. God notices our actions. It's the only negative in the chapter. And you know, it reminds me of this. God, you know this, but we need to be reminded of it every 15 minutes. God sees everything. Proverbs 15:3, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. I saw that. Jeremiah 16:17, God says, my eyes are on all of their ways. They are not hidden from my face, nor is their iniquity hidden from my face. Hey, God, didn't you see that? I saw that. Proverbs 5:21, Job 34:21, Jeremiah 29:23, Job 31:4, Psalm 119, 168, all remind me of things you already know. But there's something in our subconscious that says, maybe God didn't see that. He's busy. There's an election coming up. There's a situation in Iran. Maybe he didn't see it. Yes, he did. God sees everything. These people gather to build a wall. It's a picture of every believer having a responsibility in some part of God's vineyard, to be God's representative, to be a spokesman for him, where he has placed each and every one of you. And a lot of you are involved in the marketplace. Hey, God's at work there. Why not jump in? And you're involved. You have a responsibility in the company. You have a responsibility in your department. You have a tremendous responsibility under the roof of your house. Some of you in the room are the chief builders there, and people are counting on you. You have a responsibility in your neighborhood, and God doesn't miss a trick. Hey, Nehemiah, yeah, you know what's going on here with the building. You know about the Tekites, right? Yeah. Write that down. Write that down. We know this, but we forget it. God sees it. I just want, before I move to the next A, I don't want to just identify the negative here. Notice God keeps his eye on the evil and the good. We need to be careful of how we live our life. Our actions and our reaction, God sees. But I want to remind you, some of you have jumped in wherever you're building. You have a tremendous walk with God. And you're extremely sincere, and you're working hard, and you're accomplishing things. And sometimes it's easy to think, I don't think anybody noticed. Yes, he did. Maybe nobody put a mic in front of you to interview you. Maybe nobody patted you on the back. Maybe you feel like you were taken for granted because nobody noticed. They never put you on TV. They never read a book. They never wrote a book about you. And I wonder if anybody sees all the work I put in here under this roof of this house, the effort I put in here, or at this company, or in my church. I feel bad. Maybe nobody came along to encourage you or to say good job. But I wanted to remind you, God doesn't miss anything. He sees everything. And it's not just the fact that Teagites didn't work, but God sees everything. God keeps a record, I believe, of my actions. The Teaganites, they're not helping. Write that down. Write that down. That's what I saw. Second thing I want you to see is from Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 9. And this phrase I want to show you is in 6 other places. Look at this one. Next to him, see, what Nehemiah did was pretty ingenious. He didn't just say, go build a wall. If you read the chapter carefully, you built from here to here. Don't worry about that over there. Fred, your job is from here to here. And then Bill Mooney's going to take over, so don't worry about this over here. By the way, everybody worked by their house. Wonder why he did that. Well, one is for security. The other was this. It's human nature that says, if I'm building a wall by your house, I don't care. If I'm building a wall by my house, what am I thinking? Nehemiah knew that too. And in 7 places, you'll read this phrase. Here it is. And next to him, this is 9, but it's in 6 other places. Well, actually, this is kind of interesting. The son of Hur was there. Oh, by the way, you know Hur, don't you? He's the leader. Whoa. Of what? Half the district of... Woo. We got a big shot out here. He made repairs. Isn't that Hur's kid over there? Oh, yeah. Well, what's his name? Oh, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I think it's Rakai. And you know what I noticed? It was this. God took a note of, in 7 different places, my advantages. This guy's a somebody. He's out there working. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Hey, somebodies don't work, do they? They just tell other people what to do. When these guys came out there, according to the dictionary, listen to this, an advantage is this. It's a superiority of position or condition. It's a factor or a circumstance that benefits the possessor. Guys, excuse me, apparently you don't know who I am. I'm the leader of half the district of Jerusalem. Wow. And God noticed that.